right. Let's get situated here. Situated. Welcome, welcome. Get the monitor sorted out here. So, good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on what time of the day you see this. Chris, how's it going? Kiki Rakas, what's up? So, today I wanted to just kind of do a live chat and go over how I list books. And Tim, Jen, welcome to the chat. Um, when I sell on Amazon and or eBay. So what I've done is Deep in the Sandbox. Welcome. That's great, Tim. You should always be working, dude. Last night we did a deep clean, and man, hey Tommy, how are you? In it to flip it. Hello, good morning. I got off of work last night, like at midnight, and then had to turn around and go back in this morning. I slept in a little bit, got there back at 7, did some more cleaning, and I got to go back at 4. So, but yeah, I had to fix the gate, fence, the grease pit, the recycling area, the storage area. So it was all kind of like in one area, Tim. So yeah, and then there's two guys in the kitchen doing a deep clean. Sonny, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. So yeah, I'm sure you don't miss the kitchen at all. so, so what I want to do today is kind of go over how I source my books based upon what time I have and where I get them from. And basically, I'll get books from the fly meet, the swap meet, the thrift stores, garage sales, library sales, basically anywhere where I can get them. And lately, I haven't been really sourcing too many books because I've got a few, but not a lot. I'm not a heavy hitter when it comes to selling books online, but I do pick up certain niches and certain things that I do know that will sell. I just don't buy a bulk of books and then pray and cross my fingers that they're going to sell. So, Triple D, I see you're in the house. Thanks for coming in. Saw your video of your competitors sourcing out of the dumpster. I guess that kind of has to go with the game when you put that out there and people are like, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. So I saw that, but you still managed to pull some goodies out of that container. So that's good. Sonny, what's going on, my friend? How are you? Hey, you're killing it over there in Vegas, Sonny. David, nice to see you here. You seem you're new to the chat. Welcome. Jen. Hope everybody's bluegrass picker is in the house. Hope everybody's enjoying their day off. So we'll get everybody in and get settled here. So I hope everybody's doing well. You know, tax season's coming up, so there's going to be some of us that are going to be really busy dealing with that. I'm going to attempt to do my own. Sonny asked a question over at Las Vegas Thrift. If I source my books with a scanner or go through them thoroughly. I don't use a scanner, the quick scan that Resale Reci uses. For me, it's like I like to sell other things on the platforms. I just use my phone. That's the only scanner that I use. And I immediately check the sales rank. That's the first thing I check if I'm ungated and not restricted from selling the book. Now, I just got off a chat with Dee, and she had mentioned something about being involved in a situation where I guess the distributor or the publisher might be going after some resellers for selling books online. Good afternoon to you, Bluegrass. And it's important that if the item is restricted in Amazon, if it says plain as day, once you scan that UPC code and it says restricted, don't go around it. There could be multiple listings on Amazon. And if the very first one, if any of them says restricted, and you look at the reason for that being by clicking on the image itself, go into the actual listing and see who's selling it. Chances are it's going to be the distributor or the publisher that's selling that book. And a lot of times you'll get the e-copy of the book, which more than likely it's not going to be a good idea for you to sell, regardless of what the case may be. He's got the day off. All right, good. It seems like that's a routine thing for everybody right now with the day off. Yeah, see, a little by little, Sonny. Little by little, my man. That's the way to do it. Slow and steady wins the race every time. Each day, if you put in an hour or two of something towards your side hustle, it will add up at the end. Everyone, I think, gets that impression that if you do it now and do it all today, you're going to burn yourself out. You just do a little at a time. And then if you take a day off, don't kill yourself over it. I try to take Thursdays off if I can, from everything. That's my day off from all the work, and try to spend some time with the family if I can. Good morning, Georgina. Thanks for coming in. Lisa and Rob, how are you? Good morning. I think Lisa and Rob are on later today. No, tomorrow. I saw that little thumbnail there. So going back to the books, thanks for the thumbs up, guys. I appreciate it. So if it's restricted, chances are it's going to be restricted in eBay too. So you might want to look at that as an option when you go to source your books. And, I know like in some of the YouTubers and resellers, they buy the Gaylords, the big pallets of books. And I personally, unless you can dollar everything out, depending on how much you're going to pay for it, I personally would stay away. There's a reason why they're in a pallet and they're all shoved in there like that. That takes away the quality of the book. And they've already been, I would, in my mind, they've already been screened or they've been filtered, however you want to say it. They've already been picked through. It's not like you're going to get a pallet sent to your house or to your warehouse, having it be full of gold inside. That's just my opinion. The best way to get a book, the cheapest way, obviously in my mind, is garage sales. Books seem to be going to the wayside ever since technology has improved. Library sales is a good way because they take care of their books, and they price them affordable so that a reseller can make money. I went to a high-end, I'm going to say a high-end library, what I say, a higher financially demographic area of town. And I went to the library. It's privately owned, and they had a huge book sale, and the prices were phenomenal to the point where I just didn't have enough space to take them all home, and every single one of them was sold. So one of the things that I look for, just to put that out there before we get going on how and what to grade and rate your books, is the hopefully I'm going to catch the questions. Harry, welcome. I'm hopefully not missing anybody's questions on this so far, but the books that I look for are cooking books, self-improvement books, religious material. I don't do like novels of any sorts unless it's a well-named author. And usually if I do, I try to pick ones that have already passed. They tend to be a little bit more collectible in my mind. Anything that's limited, children's books do very well. Nevermore Antiques, welcome. Saw your little video about the sending out your offers on eBay and how you made $500. I did a little experiment yesterday with only 7, and I made an extra $20. So it is what it is. I know the cookbooks, I know, but there's only a particular kind that I look for when I do that, Lisa. I'm assuming it's you, with the cookbooks. But anything that guides someone to the improvement or lifestyle, like financials, which is kind of hard to decide because some of that material is dated. But exercise books, things like that, mainly just to improve oneself is also a very good book to try to sell. Do I sell them because I read them or the money? It's the money. Because I'm not going to sit here and beat around the bush. I'm very highly educated with common sense. I've got a degree, but I'm not going to boast about it. And I'll be quite frank with you, because I'm so impatient in certain things in my life and learning. I go with a lot of assumption. It's 80% faking it and 20% knowledge. But I've never read a book front to back. I skim through books. When it goes to studying for an exam or taking a class for a course of whatever not, I think the only course I really kind of thoroughly went through was the CPR instructor course that I took to be certified to teach CPR. That's probably the only thing I've really, and maybe one of Ernest Hemingway's book, something about a basket or something. I can't remember what it was, but I don't even think I finished it. But yeah, the books themselves, they make decent money, and where that comes down is you can get them relatively inexpensive. Okay, you can send them cheap, and they're easy to pack. And the way I pack them is across the board, Amazon to eBay. I don't favor either platform when it comes to shipping. You get what you get, and I do take care when I do my books. So if I have a book, we'll touch on that real quick. If I was going to send this book out, I would print my packing label and put it in and fold it so that half of it is on the cover and then the other half goes inside, and it folds it down. Then I wrap it with tissue paper that I bought during the Christmas holidays, and I tape it up nice in the back. And then I wrap it in either a bubble wrap, depending on the book, or I'll do a saran wrap seal on it in case it gets wet. Then I shove that in a Franken, I guess you could say like the scraps from the cardboard, a Franken sheet, a Franken cardboard piece, and I make it nice and tight so that it protects the corners and the book itself. And then I'll shove that either in a poly bag or a bubbler, depending again on the book. Now, something like this, which is fairly old, I would put in a more protective means of getting it shipped. And usually, what dictates a book of being old is when it doesn't have an ISBN or a UPC code. Now, a book like this, say for instance, this one, when I go to put it on the platforms, this is from 1938. So I'll comp it on eBay because it's not going to be on Amazon. It might, I don't know. I mean, I could look, but my first instinct is say eBay. Now there's two of them. Now I think this one has multiple ones. This one is called Joseph in England, or England in Egypt is the title. Okay, I've never heard of the author before. Thomas Mann. It was published here in the United States, and then this is another one. But see, I've done my research. These books are ranging between $5 to $10. And this is volume 2. Good morning. How are you? Good to see you. Okay, I'm going to be doing some stuff right now. So why don't you go back in the house because it's cold out here, okay? Okay? Okay, I'll see you later. Daddy has the day off. Well, at least make sure you eat some of that pizza I got for lunch, not for breakfast, okay? Promise? Okay. Yeah, we don't. Okay, good. So the older the book, definitely probably would do best on eBay, not so on Amazon. Only because with Amazon, the features on your phone allowing you to scan the UPC so much easier to do. So hopefully the fear of listing things on Amazon, it shouldn't even exist. I'm telling you guys, if you're not on there now, I'm not trying, I'm not trying to promote it in any way, but I am in a sense of just getting it out there. The ability to list something by just scanning it and by taking the phone, and I'll show you how easy it is. The Amazon app is just like the eBay app. And let me get here. There's so many messages here. Get all this crap out of here. Here we go. Come on. Sometimes I hate technology. I really do. But without it, we wouldn't be making the money we make. So the Amazon seller app, when scanning a product, today would be good. Oh my God. Something must be running, eating up my. Okay, there we go. So what we would do is on the Amazon app, when it opens up to the Amazon seller, and when you download it, it's obviously free for the app. You hit add a product, which is at the very top of your little categories at the bottom of the screen. And then you get this, whoops, woo, where are you? Where I am. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't. But it's basically, it gives you a subject line. It says add a product. Then it has the search bar up at the top. And then it has the camera off to the right. So it's literally like a half-inch down from the top of the screen. Then it doesn't come up with a square like eBay does. It comes up with these little pixels. So let's see here. Let's see if we can get this. Who's up? Who's up? All right. So here you go. Here's this one's got a little bit of weight damage to it. So this would probably have to be disclosed. I'd have to show the picture of it because of the fact, if we're in the store, say this is on the shelf, okay, and the issue that I'm concerned with is this right here. This, yeah, let's see, that little bend right there, and the dust comes with it. That's free. So it's a book on the Civil War, okay, which is history. So this is one of the things that I would probably, well, obviously I bought, but there's that issue there. The corners, and I inspect every book. The corners seem to be in good shape. Amazon's telling me they haven't found anything yet. Of course not, dummy. And then the back seems to be okay. There's a little bit of something on there that needs to be cleaned. It's got a US an ISBN number and the UPC on the back, which was scanned. And then it seems firm. It's colored illustrated, which is my favorite kind of book. Doesn't seem to have any rips, tears, writings in it, pencil, pen, marker, because if it does, you have to disclose that. And for this book, I would not sell it as new. I don't sell any of my books new, even if it's in pristine. One of the greatest presidents to have ever lived. Thank you very much, Mr. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln. Wow. Wow. Awesome. Look at this. Yeah. See, I love this part of the history of America, the Civil War. Just to have something that came from that time frame, not this book, but just a relic that was in and around the development of the battle of being united is phenomenal. I love history. But anyway, what I would do is I would look at this and I would automatically gauge that there's going to be an issue with that. So depending on the sales rank on this book is going to determine whether or not we put it on Amazon or eBay. So if we're at the store, we just take the phone with the pixels, it scans it, it's running. Okay. Now there's two listings. And it says on the first one, the sales rank on the first one is 1,705,384. Typically a book over 1 million I may not look at. But the one below it says sales rank is 62. Wait, whoa, what happened? 625,530. So that's half, almost half. Well, yeah, it's less than half. Now the price difference between the two. The first one is the buy box, says it's $13.85. And then the one for 625,000 says it's $15.71. Now, why are there two listings? I don't know, because originally the book was probably put out with a different cover. Now, the second listing, let me show you. Oh, I can't figure this out. I got to do it right-handed. So you can't see it. This bottom one down here, the bottom one down there, there you go, right there. The bottom one down there is the cover, the exact cover that I have. So that's the listing that I would, goddamn phone. That's the listing that I would choose, only because it's the exact cover. Now you have to pay attention to that, because if you put your book that you have here, as you can see, this cover is the same as the second listing. If you put this in the first one and you send it off, you're going to get a return and you're going to get an issue with that. Even with eBay, obviously, you're going to take your own pictures with it. But in a situation like this, I would sell this book. And the buy box is $15.71 with a $3.99 ship. So then what we do is we hit that listing and it pops it up like such. Okay. And then you see that it says $18.99. So there's a different, and that's for new. Amazon's not selling the book. Okay. That is right there. Amazon's not selling it. If Amazon is not selling the book, that's another go. Okay. So we have two goes. We have a low sales rank and Amazon's not selling the book. If Amazon is selling the product on Amazon, I would highly recommend reevaluating to the next step. It's kind of like you're going to get slammed big time with not getting your stuff sold, because Amazon will always undercut you. I love playing games with Amazon with less than a penny than what they're selling it for, just to see how far they'll go. And then they'll do it. And then I'll do it. And then they'll do it. And to the point that they stop, and then I get it. I go back. Yeah. I go back and see what, because I want to see how far they'll go down before I even try to sell an item. So probably not supposed to do that. Nevermore says that he loves finding books from store. Pretty good. Yeah, right. Car books, car manuals is another one. That's a good point that he brought up. The car manuals that you get for repairing vehicles or any kind of a mechanical type do-it-yourself DIY things is a good find. Hello, Ainsley. Thank you for coming in. So that's another good one too. The Harry, what's going on? Used good is also a good. That's probably like where I kind of hang out in the book condition. Used good, and then what I'm going to start doing with the ones that are behind me that are going to go on eBay is I'm going to take a picture, or on Amazon. I'm going to take a picture of the book, and I will disclose this. It gives you a spot, just like eBay does. It gives you the spot to write this down. Now, this would probably sell for a lot less than the buy box. So let's go back to that ad. And we'll hit the used section. So the low price is $7.98, $3 in fees. Okay, so you're going to profit $4.98 if you sell this used at the current seller who's selling this right now, who has the lowest used price on Amazon. Now, if I send this out, media mail, I'm not going to make a bunch of money. Now, if I bought this book for 10 cents or whatever, this book was donated to me, only for the reason knowing that back in the day, I did this with some of the books, and I put $4 to $40, and that might have been based upon what eBay was selling them for, because when I got this book, I wasn't on Amazon yet. These came out of a milk crate. That's why this has this damage here. Amazon takes a buttload of fees on books. So right now, seller fulfilled on Amazon for this book, low price and used is $3.99, shipping credit of $3.99, so $7.98. So there's a shipping credit on this, which gives you a $7.98 out the door. Shipping to the customer says it would be $14.81 based upon what I have this set up as, because I estimate $3.75 per pound, and with the shipping credit. So I'm going to be in the whole $9.83 if I send this. So well, guess what? Not going to Amazon for that, because if I'm going to sell it for $3.98 and I get a shipping credit, and then I have to ship it to, what is this? It's not light, obviously. Oh, it's eBay scale. 4-pound book right there. So based upon what I told the computer, for every pound, I'm going to charge $3.75 to ship it, and then Amazon's giving me a $3.99 credit towards shipping. I'm still going to lose money if I send this out. So I might want to do something with this, with the pins that I have, the military pins that date back to earlier times. I don't know if they go as far back as the Civil War. I might want to keep this with maybe some other history books. I don't know. I could look on eBay, definitely sell it for maybe probably like $9 or so. But right now, based upon the condition and where I'm going to be at when I sell this, Amazon doesn't look to be the platform, for the one and final reason. Okay, there are 48 people selling this book at the moment. The other one that had the different cover was 157. So there's over 200 resellers selling this particular book in two versions. Okay, who's to say how many quantity they have? And one way to find that out is you can go on your computer when you're on the and when you're doing this, and you can click on every single one of their names or whatever, and you'll be able to see how many they have of that particular item. You can go to keepa.com, and that will kind of give you a history and have that linked up to your Amazon account. So every time you pull up an item on Amazon, the keepa.com graph will come across the top before it starts talking and showing you the information about your other competitors. And it'll show you the fluctuation of the price. And it's color coded, and you can go back as I think a year or so. But the one thing too that I look at when I do this, and all this is done like instantly, is how many prime sellers do I have? How many FBAers are out there sending this book into Amazon? And on this one, in the used category, there is only 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So almost 25% of them in the used category. And then in new, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 people out of 47 are selling them new. Here's the problem. For breakfast. Hold on. Of the 7 people that are selling that book new, I then go and I look at their feedback. Now, out of all the orders that you sell on Amazon, I would say 1% of the people, based upon my numbers, 1 to 2% of people will give you a feedback. In 1 year, over 1,000 orders, I've only got a sales rating of 20. It's insane. It's insane. But then again, out of the thousands of orders that I have on eBay, I only have like 320 feedback. The people tend to be more responsive to eBay when it comes to feedback than people on Amazon. And here's the thing. if you don't want to do books, do food. I'm just going to go a little sidebar here. When you sell food on Amazon, people already know what they want. Hello, D. Welcome. Thanks for coming in and joining me. Appreciate it. I don't have StreamYard on right now. They're trying to link me into the lifetime thing, and I was debating that and said I only had one more hour left remaining, and I was like, this is going to take more than an hour the way I ramble. But with food on Amazon, people already know what they want. They go to Amazon, they're gonna like, I ran out of coffee today, but I got enough to get me through until maybe tomorrow or whatever, and I have Prime. I want to go and get me some coffee. So they go to Amazon and they order their coffee, and boom, there it is. Now, with eBay, people are looking for things just to look because eBay is kind of one of those platforms that you have unique things to sell. As for Amazon, it's straightforward. Send me a picture, I see it, I like it, I buy it. eBay, I want to see what it is, what it's made out of, what's the story behind it, I don't know. It's just the way I think about things. So the idea of that is to try to think like that and see what the competition is doing and how many they have. Because if I was to put this online, I don't think this book is going to sell very quickly. Now, what we can do is we'll jump over to eBay and see, books are not easy. That's why I don't do a buttload of them. Because a lot of times when you do volume, here's the thing. This is the difference between picking a hand selection of a niche, in this case, history, American history. Um, that's probably something that a lot of Americans lack is history. But the thing that comes to mind is like, who's going to want to buy this book and learn about the Civil War in this kind of a thickness of material? It does have pictures when you can go to Google, when you could just go to the internet and boom. Now, this is a good resource book for maybe somebody who's writing a paper or somebody who is a history buff might want this in their collection. It's a big book for a coffee table. These are the things that you're thinking about when you see this book. Then you have to, consider the damage to it. Then you consider how many people are saying. These are all the factors over a book that you're going to lose $9.83 on. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's where I'm at with that. So let's run over to eBay real quick. Going back before we do that to the 7 people that are selling it new. The first guy who's selling it for $18.99. He's got 453. So he's got an 84% though. He'll never make it to the buy box because he's under 90%. You must have a 90% rating on your sales in order to get the buy box. The buy box is the most important thing to get when you're on Amazon. You will be the first click. Like, I don't know what it is, but there's a different animal in the consumer when it comes to Amazon. eBay, people are looking for the best deal. Amazon, it's like, that. Next thing you know, they're done. The next one is 95% for 1970. He's got over 20,000 plus feedbacks. Now that tells me right then and there that this guy is around a bit, and he's probably selling books by the volume. Selling books by the volume is very profitable in a sense where you could sell 1,000 of these and make $100 at the end of the day. That's a lot of work, but he's making money. And that's how Amazon operates. It sells in volume. That's how come they can sell things so cheaply. And the fact that they have their own means of transporting their product. The next one is a 92%. He's got 12,000 plus. He's at 1971. And that's the thing, too, that you're going to notice. Just like with eBay, the penny is the only thing that's of value in these platforms. Like when we see a penny on the ground, we don't bother to pick it up. On my end, I pick it up because I'm thinking, okay, 9 more, I got a dime. And then 10 dimes is $1. I mean, I'm not going to get all stupid with that, but I pick up money. I don't care. Well, if it's in a puddle of pee, I don't think I'm going to touch it. But the idea of undercutting people by a cent makes a huge difference on Amazon. People are always about making and taking a deal. So make sure you keep that in mind. Yeah, pick up change all the time. Yeah, you pick up change and then you're underselling by a penny. We have one guy selling this book. The highest one is at $43.93, and his title is Books Depot. So I would look at him, go to his store and see how many of these books he's got, because he's got a higher price though. He's at a 91%, so he's right on the border. He's got a low feedback, so he doesn't have a lot of orders. Then the prime sellers. The prime sellers are the FBA sellers that sell prime. Now you can be a seller fulfilled prime member. Highly not recommended if you're doing it on your own. It's very costly when it comes to shipping an item. Media mail even. I think it's a little different. Obviously, it's still, but it's a very slow service. And to sell a book prime seller fulfilled, probably not going to be in your best interest. Anything lightweight doesn't matter. It's going to cost you a fortune. We were discussing that this morning. It cost me like $22 to send something that cost me $1 to buy, and I sold it for 10. I lost money on it to send it from California to New Jersey. So it's not worth it, in my opinion. And it's only my opinion. So you do what you want. And then you have the newcomers that come in, and they always have, usually technically, majority of the time, they'll have 100%, but they have a very low feedback. But it's always good to look at your competitors. In this case, this book is showing signs of being used. I would not sell it new. Don't even cross that line. In my opinion, please, by all means, protect yourself, because there are people out there looking and waiting to pounce upon you like a cheetah and a gazelle in the Sahara Nevadas, and you're just not going to win. I guarantee you that. But if you take advantage, if you decide to sell, and you do this Amazon book selling, take pictures of the book, show the issue of concern, put a descriptive little sentence or two in there. Don't get all crazy. Don't start writing a Dear John letter to your customer. Just say, show signs of wear, show signs of storage, shows signs of, I guess you could say, I don't want to use the word damage. You got to be selective on your choice of words when you're describing a book. The platform will give you the drop down selections for its grade. Don't become a book professor and say, well, here are the circumstances of the. Don't need to get all in depth with that. Just say it shows sign of storage, shows signs of like this was due to pressure. I wouldn't say moisture, because the minute you start wording it where water and paper mix, you're going to have issues unless it does have water damage. In this case, I don't see any. But be very descriptive about it as much as you can, but short and straight to the point. That's the key, because that's your customer. They don't want to sit there and read a story about something that they're just there looking at a picture. Now, I get a ton of emails all the time, and I kind of branched off into electronics recently on Amazon. Kent, is it moist? Only on a Friday night, Kent. But the electronics, I don't know. I tried something new, and it seems to be working. It's very competitive, but the amount of questions I get, because Amazon isn't that descriptive. So I'm getting questions on something that is old school, and because of, I guess you could say, because of the lack of knowledge of people who are shopping on that platform, based upon the rush of technology that has occurred over the last 10, 15, 20 years, they're just assuming everything is wireless. And can it do this? Can it do that? Does it vacuum my house? Does it do a dial a date for me? Just ridiculous things. I don't respond. And usually when I get an email on food, or I get an email on a book, and food is probably the second thing, I respond immediately because I know my product. But this particular item that I picked up at the thrift store, it was in a box. Everything was complete. It was used. I identified it as that. It comes with a box. It's all complete. And I'm getting things like, I could not imagine, like, if it rings, can I hear it in the other room? I don't know. Where's the other room? I mean, did you live in a freaking 52 room mansion somewhere? I have no idea. Another one was, is it Wi-Fi? No, it's a hard jacked phone, you moron. So I I don't get some of these questions. I, I can't blame them because it's not allowing them to see these like questions. But now that these questions are coming in and some of the other resellers are answering, but here's the thing. The majority of the people selling this product, as I just said earlier, not to do, I did it and I crossed the line and I'm selling a product that Amazon is not only selling new, but their warehouse is selling like umpteen millions of them. But here's the thing, here's the tactic. So on Amazon, if you have Prime, this goes with any product, such as this book. A customer has to spend $25, I believe, or more in order to get this product or any product that is under the Prime guarantee for second day shipment or whatever. So in order to buy, let's say, in order to buy my book on Prime that I have for $3.99, let's just say, they would have to spend $25 with Amazon with other things to get this item. Now, here's the thing. This is what I do. Okay. I want the customer that doesn't want to spend $25. So when I list things, I typically list things that are in the $25 range per se, and some of the items are $24.99 or $19.99. I kind of just stay and hang in that area. It comes to food. $20. If you want it that goddamn bad, you're going to get it for $20. I'm going to save you the time to go to Walmart. I'm going to save you the time to go to the Dollar Tree. I'm going to save you the time to go to Goodwill. I'm just going to save you time. I am selling you a product. But with that, you get time for free. That's how I see it. So I go to the Dollar Tree, I buy something for $1. I go to the Goodwill, which I didn't go to the Goodwill to get this. I buy a book that costs me time. Okay, time that I enjoy. I enjoy doing it. That's probably one of the greatest things that I enjoy doing is going to a thrift store and buying things that I fiend for to see what the outcome is going to be to get that money. And I'm selling time. I sell food, canned goods that cost me less than $1. I use coupons. I use everything I can. When I was going to school as a student, I would go to the Goodwill and I would buy books and books and books, and I'd use my student discount. I'm not ashamed. I'll save as much money as I can on the way. But the back to the book story. So in this one, I probably would not sell on Amazon because there's too much competition. Okay, for one, it's going to sit a bit. But with 625,000 sales rank, now that means that this would probably, over time, this book would sell within probably 3 to 4 months, maybe, based upon the price. Now, if I priced it, let's say I throw it on Amazon for 99 cents, I'm not going to make any money. Let's say I put it on Amazon for $9.99. I'm not going to make any money because it already told me I'm going to lose $9.83 based upon the lowest price being offered right now, based upon the sales credit for the shipping, based upon then minus the $3 fee that they're going to $3 they want me to pay if I sell this book. Now, what if I take this book over to eBay? What's it going to be like 13% at the end of the day between eBay and PayPal? Yeah, I think so because at $3 a book for this particular one, that's like a 30% markup in my mind. I mean, if I sell it for $10, it's going to cost me $3 in Amazon versus $1 and change over at eBay. Or I just keep it, or I just donate it. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's best just to get rid of something, and you're always thinking, "Well, I need to sell something." It's not always going to be the case, and this is a heavy book. Now, let's take, for instance, we go over to this one. Now, this one is from 1970, called Man in Space, the year after they went to the moon. Now, this is definitely an eBay book, only because of what? Well, they went to the moon the year before or so, right? And it's just nostalgic. I mean, look, there's Tommy in his chair right there. Yeah, he's got his astronaut resale outfit on. So hopefully he's still in here. There he is. Yeah, living the dream. So this is something that would definitely go on eBay. It weighs like wet, probably 6 ounces. Let's see how close I am. I like playing games like this, mind games. Ah, 4.5. All right, well, I was a little off. But something like this would probably sell for, I don't know. Did you see that? I saw it. That thing right there. The hell is that? The ghost right here. Oh, that's a tennis racket. All right. Okay, I guess it didn't like to be on the shelf anymore. Okay. So this is definitely something that would go on eBay. Lightweight, easy ship. You might make $15 on the book. I don't know. We have to look it up. But let's go over to eBay real quick, and I'll show you what this one might go for. So we know right now that that's not going to be a good one for Amazon. So is everyone doing good? I hope so. It was a nice morning this morning. We had some condensation in the air, so it kind of made it crisp in a sense where I love like after it rains or when it's a crisp morning where you get that fresh air coming from the ocean. They once sent monkeys to the moon. Tommy says his mind is blown. Yeah, because he saw a picture of himself in there in his chair in his high tech reseller chair. So in that case, I mean, I would get I would get a couple collectors on this. I would get a space collector, a book collector of nostalgic history, things of that nature. So there's same with this too. I mean, you've got collectors' coffee table, props or whatever the case may be. So these are the kind of things I look for. So we're gonna go over to eBay and we're gonna see what's up with the Civil War book. All right. So there's 44 people selling it currently. Okay. I don't know if you can see that, but take my word for it. 44 people selling it. And we're going to sort from lowest to highest. And it's $4.73. It's with free ship. It's the different cover, though. The different cover of the first one that was on Amazon that had like 1.7 million sales rank. The first one that I come across with the same identical cover of the Civil War and Illustrated History by Ward Jeffrey hardback. Now this is not. I don't know. Is this a hardback? This is a paperback. I wouldn't call this a hardback. The paperback. Yeah, I would call this a paperback, right? I mean, it's not a hardback. I think they mislabeled that. Yeah, it's ranging. It's trending at $5. And there's another one. I just saw another one that's a different cover. So there's three types on here. That must be the older one. They must have keep reissuing the same one. That's the thing with textbooks too, with college textbooks. So there's three versions of this book. Lowest one is 5. Highest one's from overseas is $48 with shipping. So let's go over to solds. This is the thing I do when the two platforms share similarities. So we already know that we're going to get roughly anywhere between $5 to $10 for the book. We already know on Amazon we're going to lose our case on this one. And we go over to eBay and we see that they're kind of selling around the same realm. The thing I like about eBay is that I can sell this book as a used item, show the pictures up to 12 photos, showing every small little detail of the book. And I think what would win the case on this is the price. So now let's go over to sold. They've had 2 sellers in the month of January, and they ranged from $4.73 being the lowest to $5.50 with free shipping. Medium mail is going to cost me that, I think, for this book because it's £4, £4 something, £4 just to midge over, and I really don't see a profit in this book. They had 2 of them sell from eBay, and they were all for the month of December, and they were all overseas. One from the United Kingdom, one from Germany, 2 from Germany. All right, 2 from the United Kingdom. So here's the decision we make, and it's straightforward and simple. We're not selling this book. Easy as that. That book will be probably something now that I don't read books for my own entertainment. I should, because it would probably give me more downtime. But I'm going to be honest with you. Last night, just in comparison to reading a book about something that I don't know anything about, I could probably do it, but my attention span would, come to a screeching halt. But I happened to listen to one of Eminem's songs last night called Darkness for the first time. It's about a 5-minute song, and it was about the Las Vegas shootings. And not knowing too much information about what took place other than what the media showed us, I didn't dig into it to see what caused it, what was the reason for it all, what flaws. I'm surprised, and I'm sure there's probably some sort of maybe more information about it being on the high publicity that it had. But the song that was sang by Eminem and the lyrics, I was able to place myself in that position, not in the crowd, but I saw myself from afar seeing the acts. And then I saw myself in the room where the individual may have been, based upon what I've seen in movies, based upon how I felt about the beat, the song, and how the influence of the lyrics kind of just gathered me, would be probably the same feeling as if I read a book. Only because I'm very animated, so I kind of fall into the story. So I don't know if I read something, if I would be a part of it. And that's the part of reading, I suppose. I mean, I don't know, I'm going off on a deep right now, but yeah, I would rather listen to a song about the Civil War and be able to think about the hardships that they must have endured during that time frame. That's probably an era that I would never want to experience, having to face that demise of civilization during a conflict. Those boys did not live well. Let's see. You actually battled Eminem on 8 Mile. 8 Mile was a good movie. I like that. Hardbacks. I'm surprised. I hope you're talking about a book, Kent, because you just made me think something other. Let's see. Where do you think Emerald got the BAM from? Oh my Lord. How high was I? Well, not metaphorically, I guess you could say, not mythically. I was actually at maybe at the same elevation, and I'm being serious, the same elevation of the shooter. I envisioned myself, by listening to the song, I envisioned myself overseeing the crowd, but from a different point of view. And I'm not sure if it's the point of view of what I recall from seeing it on the media, but I could see the flash from the muzzle of the weapons that were used to cause the havoc. So, yeah. I don't know if it was 23 floors, but it was above the treetops. Yeah, it was. And I was just about to leave work, and my kitchen manager said, "Hey, you got to listen to this song." And he was playing it for me, and I was sitting there, and I focused my energy on a speck of dirt on the wall, thinking, why isn't this off the wall yet? And as the song is playing, I can feel the lyrics set the stage for me. and it just I felt horrible because of knowing what had happened during that episode, and just the mere fact that the individual just wasn't heard, and it caused that situation to become what it is today because of his cry for help. But it's sad that it had to go in that direction. But anyway, back to the books. So that book's not going to get sold. Now, I would have done that a hell of a lot faster than 50 some minutes at a store. So when scanning these books, you got to be quick on your feet. You got to have both apps open. And then what I'll do, and I'll be honest with you, as I have always been, when I'm at a store, I look for color. I look for color of a book. I look for something that sticks out to me. Now, at a thrift store, um, they kind of sometimes put books of similarities together. So if you can find one, you'll find multiples within maybe the same shelf if they're organized. Now, I've been to one store that's owned by, I believe, a church organization. It might be a Mormon or Lutheran. I'm not too sure. But they color coordinate everything except for the bric-a-brac stuff on the shelves. But their books, if it's a yellow book, it goes here. And they do it in the color scheme as the colors are changing if they intermixed. So they'll do red, orange, yellow, purple, green, blue, that kind of scheme. It looks phenomenal. It really does. I just like, wow. So I immediately, my first thing when I go to that store is I go to the books that are on the shelf that are in black, because those are where the Bibles are. Then I go to brown and I look for brown. So those are the most two common colors for Bibles. Those are the things I pick up, Bibles. And then I go to kind of like maybe the greens and the yellows, and sometimes the reds, because it varies. But those are the ones. The red is more appealing for marketing purposes. So those are kind of like screaming children in the back seat kind of things, like gotta give them a little bit of attention to see what's going on over there. But the lighter, softer colors tend to be the food ones, and then the white ones, and then maybe some off-colored ones, but they're usually white, and they'll have like the patterns of the green in it or whatever. Those are going to be your exercise books, your self-improvement books, things of that nature. So those are the things that I like to do when I go to that store. I usually walk out of there with a couple Bibles. But like for instance, anything with medical is usually a blue or a green. That's a softer color. It's more appealing. I don't look so much for the title. I look for colors first, and then I look and focus on the titles. And that's how I shop for books. I don't know. That might sound crazy, but marketing seems to work, and that scheme in itself is very profitable. Now, like with the older ones, these were very common in color. You got your browns and your blacks, and then you had your cream colored ones with the gold. Those ones obviously are going to be sold on eBay. So let's look up this 1970 Man in Space little pamphlet, booklet, I guess we'll call it, and see. Let's see, do we have an author? Science Service Science Program by Marvin L. Stone. Okay. Man on the Moon. Oh, shoot. That's not what we wanted. Yeah, that's a whole different. Man in Space by Marvin L. Stone. All right, so 5 things came up, and we have a multitude of photos. So 5 things came up with that exact search, but we have quite a bit of them. Oh, that's a different one. The 1961 has the capsule, and it's selling for $27. All right, so here we go. We filtered through it. $10. $10. 350 with free shipping. You're gonna make nothing on that. What's the point? $15, 349, 450, 16.99, 350, 750, 850, $5, $10, 4. Let's see what's sold. All right, so we go over to the sold items on eBay, and we had December, November, January, February, January. Those aren't it. Those are in. Okay. So technically, you've only had 3 that have sold of this book. One of them says it's a 1965 book. I have to make sure that date, because it says 1970 written in, but I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on this. $6.99 with $3 ship. That was on the 21st, so somebody got a Christmas present. November 29th for $3.49, free shipping, and it's the same person. I'm wondering how many of these copies that they have of this. And then another one sold for $7.99 with $4.99 ship, $4.95 ship. Sorry. So in something like this, look, there's a breakdown of Tommy's spacesuit. Tommy's running for president, by the way. If no one's heard, he's going to lower the cost of eBay fees. Well, there's a major space installation map of all the space locations, which is kind of cool. This is just really cool. I do have a friend that is involved with astronomy, and he has just a huge liking for it. I do have an item too, so I could send that to him. I do have an item that is a Stein, a beer Stein, that was a vintage Avon Stein of when the space shuttle Columbia, right? Columbia, I think it was, exploded, and the landing on the moon. It's just a montage of things, third dimension. It's like raised from the porcelain. It's beautiful. I think I have it on eBay for, I don't know, $2. I might introduce this to that and lot the two together and maybe get more money out of it. So that's one thing and one reason why I like to find things with niches to them instead of just selling a book that you not know anything about. I do like this particular information. This book, it's small, it's an easy read, but it's I got to show you the print. It's like the typewriter version, which is cool, right? You don't see that very often. I don't know. There's pictures from Gemini 11, which is very awesome. Very awesome. Yeah, very cool. So maybe we'll do that with this book. So I'm going to keep this one only because it's going to give me possibly, let's say, $5 to $15 range. Okay. Now I would do a $5 sale on it with a three, what is it, first class, 380 something now. Customer pay shipping. If anything, I got to make $5 on it. And that's before eBay. So this is going on eBay. And then I'll give eBay a piece of the pie, and then I'll take the rest of it. And I don't know. I might lot it to maybe add it to the Stein. And I don't know if I have any other space-like things that I could add to it to create a lot. But anything more than one item is considered a lot. So There you go. So who is in the chat now that we've gone over that? So basically you have this book, which I thought would have been a good seller. I just picked it out at random. Obviously, it's a bust because of the amount of people selling it. The amount of people selling this is a lot less. There is definitely a change in time, though, or a difference in time. Oh, wait, here you go. Now this, wow, we're going to get to that. We're going to get focus here. I'm going to see when this was published. This was published in 1997. So this one's, you know, got some age to it already. But this was supposedly done from, I've seen two dates so far. One was handwritten for 1970. And I saw a listing that said 1965. 1967, okay? So there's a 30-year difference between the two books, and this one's going to give me a better profit. Now, going back to the Civil War one, we put out a map. That is cool. This map might be worth more than the book. Who would have thought? That's just my scavenging mind thinking. Of course, you're listening to a guy who will take a broken down TV from the side of the road and sell its components within, after plugging it in and testing it, of course. Seeing that it doesn't work, but if it still powers up, some of that information or some of that product or equipment can be sold online. So here's a portion of the eastern and southern portions of the United States during the Civil War time. Hola, ¿cómo estás, chica? ¿Qué haces? ¿Están los bebés fresca? ¿Uno o dos? Dos por esta. ¿Ayuda o no? Okay. Cuidado, cuidado. Okay. Buenos días. Un beso. Yeah. Say hello. Say hola. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Okay, go. I love you. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so you have, wow. This I think might be worth more. I'm almost willing to bet you that this map would be worth more than the book if somebody is a Civil War buff. Right? What do you guys think? Yeah. Green card. I'm Danish. You know, it's the joy of being in America. We're all immigrants. Think about that one. So everybody should show their green card. So we've got all of the battles, which pretty much was in Massachusetts. There was one. Gettysburg, obviously, up in Pennsylvania. So here, let's just, oh, there was some, let's just show. I mean, I don't know if you guys are interested in this. I noticed that some people dropped out of the chat, but hello, Hoovers. So in that Civil War, there you go. We're going to just document it now for you individuals that need to know more about the Civil War, because honestly, the most common one that I can say that I know is Gettysburg. First Bull Run was another one. That sounds familiar. Seven Pines was another one. I never heard of that one. But here, take a ponder. Pretty much Virginia was the hot spot, and then Tennessee, and then the most common one up in Pennsylvania. Dumpster Diving Dad, what's going on? Then you had Fort Sumter, which is another one, which is down in the Carolinas, down in South Carolina. That was another battle that took place during the Civil War. Yeah, we're just going over the fact that we found this map in the book, and we decided that the book wasn't going to sell well on Amazon or on eBay. And we found a map, and we're thinking now that the map might be worth more than the book. And then there's some battles there with the little reds, little dots or whatever for Tennessee. So I think we might do ourselves some justice with this. That is definitely going to be researched, and that will go on eBay. So we will take this book. Now, I hate to say this, but I was thinking, because I am an admirer of Abraham Lincoln and his humbled way of going about business and the sadness to his death, and these pictures that are in here of the Civil War are phenomenal. I might just keep it. Now, there's some kind of morbid looking ones here with dead bodies, so I don't think we're going to show that, but I might just keep it for the nostalgic of it and maybe read a book. Maybe this will be the book I'll read. Now, I do have a friend that's a history buff, and I was waiting for him to come in the chat today, but he didn't come in. I might gift this to him then, because he is a history fanatic, and maybe that will be best served in that direction. Give it to somebody that I know will appreciate it, instead of giving it back to the Goodwill and feeding their pockets. So let's take some time and say hi to everybody. Buying Space, Myra, thank you for coming in. Kent, No Money G, what's up? We got Hoover's Courage and Coin. I said that wrong. Sorry about that. We got Kent, always on the spot. We got Triple D over there in Sacramento. Let's see. Who else did we have jump in? Land Shark Picker, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you guys taking the time to come in, and we were just kind of going over some of the things that I look for when selling books and how I source them on different platforms as far as putting them on different platforms. We got Sunny over there at Las Vegas Thrifts, and we got Nevermore Antiques. I think it's John. I hope I said that right. I believe it's John. We got the Bernardster over there in Delaware. Tommy in his spacesuit and his space shuttle, his space shuttle. Okay, can't even say it. Space shuttle chair. I don't know why that was so hard to come out. I almost said ship. Let's see. Who else did we have jump in that we may have missed? Old School Picker was in. I don't know if he's still here. Chris, I think we already said hi to you, bud. If not, Land Shark Picker, hello. D was in. Ainsley was in. Jen was there. Eric has been in. Eric, I didn't say hi to you, dude. Sorry. How's it going? Hope everything's going well for you. We're planning, actually, one of the local resellers doesn't have too many videos out, and his name's something Gary. He hit me up yesterday. He wants to do a meetup. So I'm thinking, I'm a small channel. I'm a nobody, but I'll do a meetup. We'll do an RA trip together if that be the case. He lives up north there at the north part of San Diego. And then I think there's another seller that I saw that San Diego Closet, something or another. She does clothing. I thought we might get together and start up a posse over here in California. I don't know why we don't. Yeah, West Max Gary. That's it. So I was thinking I might try to organize something where, because I'm not going to say I'm jealous of the fact that people like go to Florida and it's a great place to be. I used to live there in Ocala and Daytona and Holly Hill. And I was shipped over to Bahrain through MacDill Air Force Base out of Tampa, I believe. So I'm very familiar with parts of Florida. I do know that it's probably not a location that I would be interested in living in as of yet because of the bugs and the gators. I mean, I wouldn't be too worried about a gator unless it was chomping on my leg. But some of the things that Florida has to offer is enticing. Okay. And I just think that California, we got to have some more resellers hanging. And I know there's tons of them. It's just that we don't know of them yet. And that's what I was trying to do for the last couple of weeks, is to reach out and see what other resellers are out there, to to try to link all of us together, because the community is huge. I didn't think it was this grand of scale. I mean, it's enormous. And I remember Kevin saying something over at Thrifting Lounge, that it used to be just a small amount of people, years back, and they're still doing it. They're still in the game, and it was like one day somebody said, "Put it on YouTube," and then somebody did it, and now everyone's doing it. And you got the Bearded Picker, you got Lonnie over there, and Lonnie gets a lot of publicity for what he does. And if you look at his numbers, he's not that comparable in numbers when it comes to Rally, when it comes to the Bearded, Rise and Grind Picker. I used to watch him all the time, but for some reason I fall off the bandwagon with him, because he got a little mainstream. And then with Reyes the Entrepreneur, I was following him when he was sleeping in his car, and now he's taken this YouTube thing to a whole another level, and he's doing very well for himself. But he's boasting on certain things, and I think, you know what? That's not when I started following you. I started following you because of the hustle, because of the grind, because of the lifestyle that you were living, because of what you were trying to do to show for yourself. And then you turned over, and once you got your first paycheck from YouTube, you started boasting about it because you were running out of content. You stopped doing the hustle, started promoting yourself, which is good, but you got to do it in a way like Gary Vee does. He does it in a way that you really don't look at it in that point of view. You look at it, the fact that he's still out there hustling. He's still out there doing his thing. And you're not like saying, I'm not going to sell books anymore on Amazon anymore because now I'm making money over here on YouTube. No, that's not the way I'm going to roll. And I would hope the best, that you would make the best decision for yourself. And I'm no one to be giving advice to anybody. So that's the way I'm doing it. Let's see. But yes, Gary Vee kills it. He does. He really does. I was sub to him for a long, long time now, or I have been sub to him for NASCAR. Derek, what's going on, bud? Let's see. I saw the video with the crashes. It's like you're gonna need a medic over there with some of those crashes. Yeah, D wants to go to Florida to warm up. I can totally imagine that being the case. Used to be in all the chats, and then they blew up, and you never see them supporting the yeah, that's the thing. The only two people that I have seen come into any chats while I've been involved since December or November timeframe, I've only been doing this for like 4 months, is Taco Stacks will come in. Three. I'm going to say three. I've seen the Bearded Picker Scott come in with Bluegrass, and I've seen Taco Stacks come in. I can't remember whose channel that was. That might have been with Tommy. I know Pete's come in with Tommy. So Tommy has that chick magnet kind of persona. It must be the amount of Old Spice he wears around his earlobes that it's irresistible for even men to not want to have a nibble. So yeah, those people have my respect, and having that ability to still be like how John says it over there, is that Pete is awesome. Sometimes it's hard to understand Pete because of his dialect, but he's so down to earth. I mean, I've never met him before, but his ability to keep it interesting, and his store. I wish I had that store. I don't know, like, if it's gonna fall in a hole or something like that, but to be able to have that ability, to have that space, I just don't know, like, in something like that, if it is the best location. I don't know these things, but he does seem to be doing well for himself, and his YouTube is definitely done well, and his eBay store seems to be doing okay. So I admire that. I really do. That's where, like, I know I kind of have a similar dream or a passion for something along the lines like Tracy does. I don't know about the RV thing and wanting to sell on the road, but to have the facet to have a warehouse where you can store and have people work for you and hustle the things you got to do, because at that level you would want to sell in volume so you could keep things moving, and not get 7 to 10 items a day or every other day. You would want 70 to 100 items a day in order to keep an operation like that flowing, where then you could get your RV and source in other locations and come back with a horde like a pirate. um, I don't know, it's not a bad deal. Let's see. Sonny is back up in chatting again. That's good. Yeah, plenty haven't gotten the memo yet, right? Yeah, so I think that's cool that the larger channels take time sometimes. And I think too, though, if you really think about it, a lot of people let that stuff get to their head, and that's with anything really. In my mind, it's like, I don't know, you get to a point that we can't, as viewers, can't look at them and going, oh, they've let it gone to their brain cell to the point where they think they're too good for the rest of us. But then again, it gets so bombarded with things constantly. I bet, like, if their Instagram or their YouTube comments, I mean, there's going to come a point where a lot of us are going to get to a stage in our YouTube creation career, and you're not going to be able to respond to every single comment. I try to do the best I can, and I know a lot of others do the same, but there's going to come a time you're just going to have to hit the heart button over and over and over, and then give everybody equal share of love. You can't show favoritism in any way, shape, or form. You got to be very kind of just even Steven across that board. And if you miss one person, then all of a sudden you got somebody knocking on your door. Oh, I don't want that. I don't think anybody wants that. So does anyone have any questions about selling books on Amazon or eBay? I kind of gave you kind of the short version, even though it wasn't over an hour or so. But I'm hoping, especially for you, Sonny, that was mainly meant for you to kind of maybe just dive into it. The getting started part on Amazon is probably the hardest thing. It really is. And it's just a matter of getting the account started. And then if you haven't done it already, I would not do the pro account until you've sold more than 40 items for a month, because it's going to cost you like 99 cents for every sale. Just get it going, because then the bot's going to pick you up, and it's going to start ungating you on other things that you're not going to be able to sell. I noticed that before the Q4, and being my first year last year, I wasn't able to sell a whole lot of nothing. Just books and food was pretty much the only things that I was dipping into. And Q4, I was looking and I was misunderstood, based upon the fact that I thought I was going to be able to, the gates were going to open up, and then St. Paul or whatever the hell, St. Peter was going to be like, welcome to the Holy Grail of all reselling of Amazon. And then I could see like a little silhouette of Jeff Bezos over there. And it wasn't like that. It was basically allowing me to still sell the toys I was selling, even though they technically weren't toys. It shut down the sellers that would not be able to sell during Q4 certain toys or whatever. And you're going to run into like your big brands like your Hasbro and your Play School and what's another one? Nerf. Those are some ideas or some of the examples of the things that you're not going to sell. Like, I go to Walmart and I hit the clearance aisles, and here's another secret. When you go to the clearance aisles and you look at a Walmart sticker, if you don't already know this, there should be a date in the bottom right corner of the sticker, of the yellow tag, if your Walmart tags it in that way. You should always scan the barcode on the product prior to taking it up to the register, just to make sure that it was priced accordingly, so you don't have to deal with it, and set it aside and bring it to the attention of the individual that's helping you, or the manager or whatever. Because those prices will vary. Sometimes they're less, sometimes they're not programmed in the system. So you don't want that to hold you up if you're in a rush. I'm always in a rush. the idea of getting a hold of the manager when you get these items from Walmart is to ask them to lower the price even more, depending on the date. And you can sit there and look at that and gauge it. Now, if I've got multitude of, because I like to shop in quantity of the same one item, and if I have, 10 boxes of something and they were sitting on the shelf for a week, I'll go and take all 10 of them in the cart. I'll wheel it to the manager after going through my cycle over there at the store, and I'll ask them to lower it. And chances are 99% of the time they do, unless it's a product that is serviced by a vendor, such as Hasbro, for instance. Hasbro comes in, they take off the old stock, and they have Walmart mark it down, and that's the price it stays. It doesn't go like 50% off majority of the time. Sometimes you might get lucky with that, but for them to come back with that little handheld sticker deal and lower it, it'll allow them to get to a certain point, at least for the Walmart where I live. It allows them to get to a point and then they can't do it. So you're kind of stuck paying whatever price it is, but it's still at a lower price. But when I sell Hasbro or Nerf, I barely make a little bit of profit on it. So I have to be very selective on what toys I buy. Sonny had a statement. It said, like Tommy said in his live with Tracy yesterday, that haters help people more than they realize. What's one haters compared to everyone supporting you, just like eBay review? Yeah, it is. You're always going to get that regardless. He was talking about the trolls too, exactly in that reference that Sonny had mentioned. Personally, when it comes to that, I don't care. I mean, I care with my like responses or feedbacks if it's negative with eBay. With Amazon, it's just as easy sometimes, depending on the situation. I guess I've only had a couple of incidences where I've had Amazon remove an issue because they neither one of them were my fault, and they were both pointing fingers at me. Like I didn't drive the semi truck over your product. That wasn't me. I sent it to you, and ensuring that it would get to your location in safe fashion. It's a box. It's not made of concrete. So the platforms are very helpful with it. eBay is super helpful with that. They'll just they'll take care of you in a heartbeat. Um, do I sell? Okay, wait. Electric Infant had a question. Let's see. I want to make sure I get this. Do I sell on eBay or use to send to Amazon? I do sell on eBay, and I started eBay back in 2007, and I've been doing it part time ever since. But I use eBay as a source because it's, in my opinion, more experienced but lacking the technology that it needs to be competitive with Amazon. But I kind of compare the two in a sense in pricing to gauge what the market's going to give me for that item. And then there's all those other factors that I had mentioned about whether or not there's enough people in the platform. So if there's 10 people in Amazon selling this one product and there's only 4 over here in eBay, I'm jumping to eBay because it's less competitive. But then I have to look at the price. If the prices are at the same level, then I still jump over. So, yeah, you're gonna get haters. I embrace haters. I embrace them. I don't care. You're gonna get it anywhere you go. And there's haters all around us, regardless of whether we see it or hear it. You're gonna have people talking behind your back that you're never gonna know anything about unless somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, you know what? They were talking shit about you the other day." You gotta work a lot because I'm very like I have no filter, none whatsoever. And if I don't like you, I'm gonna tell you straight to your face. Like I think you're full of shit. Excuse my language. I think you're dumber than a box of rocks. I don't like your opinion. I think maybe you should just go away right now because I'm there to do a job. I'm not there to be your friend. I'm not there to be socializing with you and hanging on me and this, that, and the other. And some people just don't get it. And if you don't do your job and I got to pick up the slack, I get really easily irritated with that because I've got enough I've got to do throughout the day beyond the time that you already took off and went home. That irritates the piss out of me. And I'll let you know about it. So I handle each situation differently, and whether I say something or if I don't, but my actions speak louder than my words. So yeah, I deal with haters in a special way. Let's see. Hopefully, we're not missing anybody here. Let's see. One negative feedback won't hurt you. No, one won't hurt you. If it's on eBay, you can easily have it reassessed. On Amazon, it does affect your percentile that you have for your ratings, which you can have removed. And it's visible to the public. So when they see it, they can see. And I would never highly recommend this ever in your life. Say anything back negatively to a negative feedback, either that be Amazon or eBay. Just take it for what it's worth. You got to do your due diligence when you send out the products on Amazon. If I sent this book out and I didn't disclose that it was dented, and the customer says, "Never again am I going to buy from you again," say thank you for your business. Hope to help you soon. Again, regarding just sugarcoat it. Be nice about it. It's going to hurt you when you do that, but it's going to really screw you up if you go back and start having a bitching contest with the customer on Amazon, because Amazon will not mess around. They will say, you know what? You didn't handle the situation as Jeff would have handled it. You're on a timeout. So just food for thought, please, by all means, do your own thing. I highly recommend you just play the political game when it comes to sending feedback. Sometimes all I do is I do a simple one. It says, thank you for your business. What can I do to help, make this better or whatever? Yeah, it's not what I'm feeling on the inside, because I know what went out. And I always try to get to the bottom of what may have happened. And I've only had it a couple times. And majority of the time, it's the carrier that may have mishandled the product, or it got damaged somehow sitting on the porch, or whatever the case is. But if you acknowledge the customer on the negative feedback, if it's legit, okay, and you say, hey, I want to help. How can I help you? How can I make this situation better for you? What is it that you need? What is it that you want? As long as, I think, human nature, when it comes to something like that, when someone comes and lashes out at you, okay, pounces out of that bush, I get that every day. Okay. How can I make it better? What do I need to do? Works every time. Kill them with kindness. Man, I live with a dragon, but the lobster still lives. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I need a back massage. My feels like it's good. Okay. I guess Sunny's gonna have to go to a happy ending massage parlor. Let's see who else. I think mine too. Hopefully, am I missing anything? Did I miss a question? I hope not. And if I did, please don't hunt me down. All right, Google ones and look for the February 2012. It wasn't delayed, by the way. Oh, hey, Hoover, you still in here? Speaking of which, your coins. I have a question. 1965 quarter. Is it worth anything in value as far as the metal? Does it have silver in it, or is that 64? I found one this morning while rolling with D, and I have it set aside. And I know I have a couple. I think quarters 65 were silver, were they not? Or was it 64? I could look it up, but if you're still in the chat, please share that knowledge with me and everyone else. Hello, Kelly. Thanks for coming in. They say that all their comments aren't coming through. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. They're coming in pre-64 unless it has the S mint mark. Okay, the 64, and the S is what for San Francisco? I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't know anything about. Yeah, this doesn't have any mark on it. It's a no mark 65. So it's worth 25 cents. Good to know. I think the only silver one that I've found in circulation and rolling my coins from just shopping and tips and whatnot has been a dime. It was fairly old. Okay. So we're just gonna throw that in the coin jar then. I found a 1944 the other day, and I have some older ones too. We pulled out of the death pile. I think the oldest one I have is a 1909. In a book of like those collector books with the little circles in them. So yeah, I've been keeping this little tray of little things that I find of interest. I like to kind of create little treasure trays for the kids. 925 still silver, and then I have a foreign coin over there and some polished rocks, little things that they can tinker with. Yeah, penny 1909. Yeah, it's in there. Some 1930s. It wasn't a complete collection of the booklet per se. I put it away, and I do not know where it's at. I really hate that. I hate when you find something, and that's what creates the pile of crap that was once around this computer. Like, oh, I'm going to save that for later. Save that for later. Then it ends up being a mound of little things. So, oh, a 1909S might be worth some money. Yeah, yeah, that might be, huh? Okay, you got excited. Let me see. God, I wish I could find it. Maybe I'll bring it out next time. There was some old coins in there for sure. I have a ton of collect. Like, there's not too many things I collect. And I know we're getting off topic, but we're done with the discussion now. It's just kind of a sidebar thing. But these are all pre-82 pennies that I set aside because of the value of copper, and there's a lot of wheat in there. But I do check the dates. And then I have, oh, here's the silver dime one, I believe. Yeah, this is the silver dime one. I believe it is. I mean, I don't know anything about coins. 1964 dime, but silver or nickel? What is that? I mean, I'm not sure here. I mean, it looks like it's silver. And then I also have two, and I have to find it. I have a coin from I found, believe it or not. Okay, so about 2 years ago, I used to do clean outs. It's silver. Okay, let's put that in our little tray. I did a house clean out, and in the house clean out that I did, um, I went on to do other things for the property. The same owner that owns this house, so it helped subsidize my rent. And I ripped out the carpet and I painted and I did some repairs and whatnot. So I had to clean everything out from the garage. I was selling empty uh, video game boxes on eBay from the stuff that I pulled from the garage. I kept a couple little things here and there, but I found a bunch of coins, and that's one of the things over the years of doing like the handyman stuff that I did years ago was the cleanouts always gave you change for the car, to get coffee or whatever the case was. But I found a Roman coin, and I have that. I still have it, and I think I've got it in the safe somewhere. But it's pretty cool, man. I have to show that one. That's I can't, and I found it literally 1 block away from where I'm sitting right now. The house is literally let's see, 1, 2, 3 street, 1, 2, 5 houses from me. And this Roman coin sits in between the baseboards and the carpet flashing, the carpet stripping, And I thought that was pretty cool. Uh-oh, we have visitors. Uh-oh, we have Luna, the black booty cat. Oh, be careful with her. Hi, baby. Where's Chancho? No. Oh, okay. Okay, take her. Be careful with her, please. Okay, bye. See you later, mommy. So yeah, got some 64 nickels in here. I think I got some 38s, but they're not in this pile. 62. So got some old coins, just out of circulation. You never know. Let's see. Ooh, see, that's the coin drop, the ping of copper right there. That's how I do it. Yeah, it's a wheat penny. I don't know. I've always collected coins as a kid. I have tons of, well, not tons, but I have a nice little collection of coins from around the world that I've collected over my travels. A lot of them coming from the Middle East, which are just things that I'll probably give to my kids. So, pitch 64 nickels. Okay, so we're pitching. How about 62s? I don't know. They're just the fact that they are so worn out, and the stories that must be like. I've always wanted. I wish there was a way, and I don't know. Might be a far fetched, but I always wanted for like that 1909 penny I had mentioned. What if there was a way that you could like insert it in a machine, right? You set it on top, and then the hologram comes up, and it tells a story of all the people. Now that might be just a little mind blowing to the fact, but you get this like image of all these little pictures of people who've held it and had it, and you could pick like, okay, what was the story on this person? What did they buy with it? How long did they have it for? Just I don't know. Just that's the kind of stuff that intrigues me is stats and tidbits. I don't want to list and watch a full-on hour and a half story of everybody who had this. Or they rediscovered because of the hunt, the treasure hunting. Now, like for instance, that Roman coin, that would be an ideal situation on how, going back to the time that it was made by hand, by press, what it was used for, the value, because it's really kind of got some disfiguring to it, but you can still kind of you get the figure of the individual on it, and what's its value, what was mainly purchased with it, how it got discovered and its travels, and how it got here to the States, and how it ended up only being like so far down the road, and how and why I found it. I mean, I wasn't going to take on the job. I'm not saying like, oh, I was meant to have it, but just the mere fact that I'm the kind of guy when I see something so small and minute that a lot of the people in this world overlook. I don't know. It kind of paid off. So, like Hoover said, if that 1909 penny is worth a couple $100, it might be worth some money. But hopefully we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I appreciate the info. See, this is why I think it's important that the community kind of links together and kind of outreaches to other individuals who do reselling in certain areas. Like now we all know that Hoover has a knack for coins, and I recall watching a couple of their lives, and they do some late shows, and I think I saw one where, if I'm not mistaken, the box of coins that they pulled out, which was a nice little setup, that to me is interesting. That to me is therapeutic. I mean, I don't mind going through, and I've done it on my channel. I just went through my change not too long ago because it's something that I enjoy doing. And I roll up my coins and I put them in a container, and then I take them to the bank and I put them in the kids' little savings account. And that's where we found that 44 penny. And why did I keep it? Well, it's a 1 cent penny. And the history of it is the fact that it was during the time of war when we were under conflict. So, do I feel linked to it? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Well, because it has my favorite president on it, obviously, with Abraham Lincoln. And next to Ronald Reagan, I think Ronald Reagan was a good president. But Abraham Lincoln, I don't know. And he was a vampire slayer, too, according to Hollywood. But this is during the time of war. And, I keep this. I think I have a silver one of these, too, somewhere. And I'm going to look for it today. I'm going to look for that Roman coin and that silver penny I have. And Hoover, correct me if I'm wrong. The reason they did silver during the war was because the copper was needed for the military, correct? Is that why they went to silver? Or was it even silver that they used? Yeah, they would have, right? Because they stopped using silver in the coins pre-64. I thought it was 65, so I'm glad we got that cleared up. I would be sitting there collecting all these. I'm like, look at all these coins. You can tell the difference. You can totally tell the difference by the size. Right, 1942. Yeah, with the bombing of what was it, Pearl Harbor? But we were still in conflict during I think up to 47, was it? Steel. Okay, it's steel. So those steel pennies, um, John, thank you for correcting that. But the steel pennies, are they worth anything? Okay, pennies from 43 were the steel ones. So because of the change in material, does it bring a value to those for that year? It was only the 1 year, right? They're magnetic. Yeah, that's an interesting that'd be a good magic trick, I guess, if you had one. Yeah, Lincoln was the man. He was a big tall man with a big beard and a big hat carrying an axe, slaying vampires. That's for sure. Any other questions regarding books? Okay, so we're gonna do one last little experiment to eat up some time. We're gonna pull textbook now. Okay. Now here's a little secret. So for some of you that are still hanging, you'll be able to decide whether or not you want to do textbooks. Oh, for 42 to 45, 35% silver. That's good to know. I never thought that nickels had actual silver in them. I thought it was just dimes and quarters. You learn something new every day. So now I'm going to definitely keep up. And for some reason that you've mentioned that, and John corrected me too because of 44. I know that the bombing of Pearl Harbor and the conflict that followed after, anything that I find during that time frame of I think that's probably like I don't collect anything from like the Gulf War. I was in the Gulf War, so I don't want to collect anything from there. But the 40s is definitely, it piqued my interest in the last probably 10 years. Sonny says Dad got into collecting coins 2 years ago. He lives in Texas and works out in Mexico helping oil riggers during his free time. Oh yeah. A little quick story on the Mexican currency. What do they call it? It demonetized. I think back in the 80s, and it ended up being worth nothing. And then it got reestablished shortly then after. And you used to be able to go down to Mexico and buy the world with the American dollar. And now, what I tried to do years ago, like 4 years ago, I bought into it with the exchange rates, thinking that it was going to come back down because it went up to like 22, 24 pesos to the dollar when it used to be like, excuse me, 9 or 10. And then it went up. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy into it in hopes that it will come back down to where it has been for the last 20 so years. And I'll make the difference now. I sold like within a month. I thought it ain't gonna happen. It hasn't happened. So I'm glad I did that. So that's the joy of that experience. So let's make sure we're not rough. 1942 pennies can go for 30 cents and low grade. Oh, that's not a bad little deal. I mean, I don't know if people are going to be flocking the market with that, looking for those things, but that's a huge return. And I'm the kind of guy where I look just on percentage. I don't look at the value of the dollar of return. I look at the amount of percentage. So here, let's pull this one. So real quick, we're gonna do textbooks, college textbooks, or high school textbooks. Usually, the high schools don't require the kids to buy the books, so we're just gonna refer to this as college textbooks. You gotta have a phone. Oh no! Oh no! There it is. Yes. Yes, you can. Of course you can. If it's in the refrigerator, you can have it. Okay, hold on. Okay. Oh, careful. Get your shake, because I'm trying to do something. Oh, wait. Oh, I thought you wanted the strawberry one. You want the vanilla one? Make sure you shake it up. All right. Hey, kitty. Careful with kitty. Leave kitty in the garage. Okay, let me finish up. All right. Bye, baby. Okay, so college textbooks. What I've learned is that if it's 10 years, well, see, this is not good. That's not good. Somebody ripped the page out. Not good. Okay, well, that's probably the page we needed. Yep. Looks like there's only one page, and it's the publishing date on it. Well, this would not be a book that I would have bought. But I do know it is a book that can be sold. Now, here's my thought. Okay. So we don't know the information on when it was published. But when we scan it, it may tell us. Now, one of the benefits with Amazon's book selling is that just like with eBay, you can scan the cover if you don't have a UPC or an ISBN, and this has both. So the reason I was finding the date on this, because in some textbooks you probably don't want to sell books that are changing constantly with the industry, such as technology, maybe financing, medical, such as this one, anatomy and physio. Not much changed unless the procedures testing for certain things within the human body. But as far as a human anatomy goes, unless you have a third eye and something else growing that we don't know about, I think you're okay. But give yourself a standard of about 5 to 8 years. Because what happens in order for these publishers to make money, this is Times, Mirror, Mosby, Mosby is a very common one. They have to change things within the book to have another edition. And this particular one, like I said, doesn't say. And it doesn't say outside either. Usually it has it on the cover. So this might be the very first one. So let's see. So right off the bat, this book is not beneficial. But because I'm curious, curiosity does kill the cat. Let's see. Okay, I got to look at that 55 one. I'm learning all kinds of stuff today. I'm going to go through all my pennies now. What are you doing out there? Digging through my pennies? Your pennies? No, pennies. Okay, so any day. Oh, add. So we can scan the cover of the book. And because Amazon has sold so many books in their days, the lighting is really crappy. But the image will just pop up, I hope. There it goes. So it's running over here, over there. And okay, so you do get this a lot. And this is not the book, but it picked up the word physiology. Is what it's done. It's not the book. So there's an example to be mindful of what you're scanning if you don't have an ISBN. So if that's not the book, we're going to scan the UPC code. And there you go, instantaneously. And the book is, I'm going to say it's dated. Now here's another thing. If you see this, when you scan your books, it says slow moving ASIN. I'm hoping you can see that because I can barely see it when I angle it like that. I'm just trying to show you that orange bar there. That's telling you the book is no longer being used for study. But you have two listings, and for one, somebody took a picture of the book like this, and that's not a good selling point. There is not a sales rank on that ad of the picture of the book like this. The buy box is $55, $43.98 for used, $58.99 for new. Sometimes that information is conflicting. Okay, so the new guy, he's selling it. He's got 100% feedback. He's got 154 total. He's he hasn't been selling too much, but he has been selling. And I'm thinking this book is just sitting on his shelf collecting dust. The other person or entity on the used category is selling it for let's say $44. And they've got over 64,000 feedback. So they've been in the game for a while. And it's got a letter in its acronym that has a B. So I'm thinking it's a volume bookseller. One way to find that out is just to go on the computer and do this and put in the UPC code in the add a category or add an item. So there's only 2 people on Amazon selling this book. Now, do I want to sell this book? I'm going to say no. And the reason I'm saying no is because my gut is telling me that that red horizontal bar that we saw that said slow moving ASIN, that is like getting your hand smashed with a hammer. And then the bottom one, even though it's not the same image, and it's done by a different author, it also came up because of the title, the similarity of the title. That's got an 18 million sales rank. So this is not something that I would sell. This would stay on the shelf. And this is something that I will probably get back on the shelf here behind me as a background prop. But being from the medical field, and so has the wife, this might be something that might be helpful for kids later on. I don't know, because like it's not something that changes, like your body isn't growing another arm. So I don't know. It'll probably find its way back at a thrift store, I think, over time, because I think this backdrop is going to change. So that's how we decide on those things. So we know that we've gone through those books. Oh, here's an old one. So we're going to put this one here because we know we went through it already. And then here you go. Here's a book of the Indians. We'll save that for the next time. That's definitely an eBay book. So we'll put that maybe with some a lot of things of Navajo, Native American, Last of the Mohican VHS. I don't know. We'll see what we have. Maybe we can see what it's worth. That blue book right there. That blue book is worth anything. Let's see. Are you curious? Because I'm curious. Now that I've mentioned it, I usually have a rule. If I've talked about it for more than twice, then we probably should do something about it. Now, it's not going to go on Amazon, of course. We're at 2-hour mark, so I'm going to probably close it up because I'm sure there's probably other people that are going to be going live today if they're not already doing so. Let's see if this book is on eBay. The Book of Indians. Awesome author name right there. It's got some is that mold? Oh my God. Let's see. Let's get some fast action on that one right now. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna close up this chat here shortly because I'm gonna go hang out with the little ones. I know they slept in. I have to be to work today at 4. Okay. Yeah, I know it's Clorox. I could use at Costco. Clorox is sponsoring this procedure at this moment. They were not paying me for this product, but maybe at some time they would like to. I enjoy using this product at all times for disinfecting purposes. Okay, so yeah, there we go. I think it's very dirty too. Probably not very good for the cover of the book, but it's old school, and they built things back in the day to last. That's for sure. I'm not going to take it to the pages, but I am going to take it because the spores, and I shouldn't be breathing and talking when I'm doing this, but hopefully the wet towelette will handle that. All right. That was pretty gnarly. So, the Book of Indians comes with free dirt. Now my hands are, I don't want to use it. Okay, we're just going to wash up afterwards. Okay, so here is the map. Let's see. All right, I have a piece of paper in here that says $6 to $85. This is a donated book. Like I said before, the reason I know it was donated is I took the time at some point to go through these kind of quickly. And here, this, I mean, look at that. Here's the good US of OA. And you have the undeveloped land from the West, or in the West. So this story time might have been pre-Louisiana trade. So the book was written, I love when you use Roman numerals. All right. Wow, look at the artwork of that. That's beautiful. I'll show you here in a minute. Where's 60? Okay, here. What is it? Here's a test. Here's your first exam, everybody. Tell me what the Roman numerals and what year this book was published. Here you go. Try to do it without using Google. Be true to yourself. I'm going to say mid-century as a hint. Hopefully you guys, does anyone need to see it again? It's MCM XXX V as in Victor. Anyone? 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 Okay. So while you're still pondering and cheating, wouldn't I make a good instructor? While you're cheating, look at that artwork on that. I think that appears to be the Grand Canyon, apparently. 1976. Okay. 1935. Okay. 1985. Okay. All right. I personally don't know, but I know Roman numeral X is 10, and I know the V is a 5. So I'm gonna, if I was to jump off a ship right now, and I had Hoover coming in, and I had David coming in, or if I had No Money G coming in, and if I had Chris coming in, now who thinks they got it? Who thinks they got it? Because I'm going to show you another bit of information, okay, that's going to maybe sway some of you. The book was handed down to somebody in August in the summer of 1958. So, okay, it's three X's. Hoover, 3 X's. So, 1935, right? So that's one of the things that you have to brush your skills up on is your Roman numerals. So MCM would be 1900. Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. So we're going to go with 1935. I'm usually not one by saying that it is what it is unless I see it for myself, but I'm going to take the word because I see 2 people who have mentioned it. So this book, we're going to use that date. And I can see that the pages are discolored. They're not crisp and white. It's got obviously a font that would be a different font. It doesn't look like it's Roman numeral, or Roman times, I should say. The artwork gives it away that it's vintage. The author, and I want to say maybe it was a couple, because I noticed the artwork has got the same last name as with on the cover, Halling. So I kind of I don't know if it's the individual is called Halling C. Halling. I can't see that being a name. I'm like, what parent would name you the same as your last? And what's the likelihood of your first name as a woman marrying a man of the last name, the same last name? So I'm thinking maybe it's 2 people. The illustrations in this thing are very and you've got some non-coloring. I forget what this is called when they do the dot artwork. I used to know the answer to that, but some of the artwork that they have with the ink. Oh shoot! I used to know the name of that. All right, so this book is in very good condition. There's some imperfections of the back part where the map is not binding, and that may have been, and that is not due to the book. There's a little bit of separation maybe, but it's on the hinge of how the book is supposed to mechanically open. So that is a slight imperfection of the assembly of the pasting of the back page. A trivia fact: there has been, and there still are, and I don't know if it's complete the same, but in the county of San Diego, I do believe there are more tribes here in the county than there are in the rest of the country. I'm just going to go on a limb there. I recall hearing something to that effect, which is very interesting to me. Like even the Native Americans knew that there was a tax to be paid later in life. So anything Native American is very collectible. Very, very collectible. I mean, you can tell that that's like it's just to me it's very beautiful. I'm just seeing if there's any more colored ones in here. Okay, so let's look it up. Let's see. We might have an opportunity to put this online today. The Book of Indians, Halling C. Halling, 1935. Well, first thing off bat is I see 12. The first edition. Okay, I see two variations. The blue one is very common. And I see another one that's colored illustrated on the cover. And it also claims to be the first edition. They're saying that this is the hardback, and then there is what appears to be, I would imagine, the paperback, but it's got the same year, same edition. So there's a conflict there, and I'm seeing low prices, and I'm seeing extremely high prices for it. Lowest price is $8.99 with $4 to ship to my place, or best offer. Then it's 13. Then it's 10 plus ship. Then it's 12 plus ship. Then it's 12 plus ship. 16 plus ship. It goes as high as. Oh, that gets into the cowboy ones. Obviously, there's a link between the Indians and the cowboys. $85. The rare book of Indians, 1935, first edition, $85. Let's see what's so rare about it. Let's see what they say. Wait. Your phone is doing weird things. So if it's a very rare book, first edition, first thing that comes to my mind is that there's two different covers out there. It says that the table of contents in the following 5 pages are printed twice. Huh? Table of contents and the following 5 pages. Oh, in his book. I was like, not in my book. Let's see. That is okay. He did the forward part wrong. The forward is a list on page 11, counting from the including map of the 9. If you count second half of the map, the page is not usually counted in the numeric, followed by 13 and 14 as chapter 1. Then there's okay. So he has a. Okay, I'm doing something right now. Okay, and when I'm done, I'll meet up with you in a second. Okay, mommy, we'll watch a movie or something. Okay. All right, so he has maybe a book that has a default or a defection to it. Maybe that's why it's so expensive. See, that's why you have to look at that. You can't just say, "Oh, if he's doing it for 85, I'm gonna do it for 85." There's a reason for why he's doing it so much. So let's jump up to the next one that's selling for 40 plus $7 ship. And I'm telling you, you got to do your research sometimes. You wouldn't be able to know this on Amazon. Very good condition, first edition, no dust cover. Okay, so don't know if 1935 if there was dust covers in the books. I do not know that. I do not know when dust covers came about. So I think that's something that maybe I should look up. Let's see, does anyone know when dust covers were introduced? I'm going to say maybe the late 60s is what I'm going to say. That's a guess, an honest guess. One small tear on the third page. The page is intact, has been repaired, but tear is present. The Book of the Indians is in very good condition. First edition mission dust cover stigma says the same thing. On the edges and the spine, but pages are clean and binding is tight. One small page repair on page 3. So he's very descriptive, or they are very descriptive in a way. Can't really tell. Color illustrations throughout, in excellent condition for its age. Decorated in papers, beautifully illustrated children's book for a short story based on Native American folklore. Other than some slight yellow aging, very clean inside. So it's very common for the books that are this old to have the papers discolored like this, where they're kind of yellowish, which really kind of, I mean, I have a book from 1792 that the pages are in better condition than the pages in this book from 1935, as far as the discoloring goes. Within the book itself, the first couple pages are really bad as far as like the yellowing. So I'm looking at possibly like I have on here. Now, mind you, what did we say that one book was? $85? When I looked these up years ago, when I got them, these came from a milk crate from the flea market. I went through and wrote what they ranged from low to high, and this is what I wrote on the paper. So that book that is rare and has the defect in it that's selling for $85 is still on eBay. So nothing's really moved. At least that one hasn't. So let's see what the solds were. Okay, so it is a book that does sell, though. You've had 14 results, and I've got books of different colors. Blue, the red. There's one like this, but this is red. Sold for $5. There's another one where this is silver or white, and the bird is detailed with black and white. Sold for $9. Then there's another one that's got a different color, looks like orange or red of some sort. The book itself isn't darker. It might be just the photo. Sold for $10. Another one sold for $14. That's a great bundle right there. The Indians, the Cowboys, there's a red one that's called the Cowboys, and then the Indians by the same author. That sold for $10. So they got a good deal on that. So flipping these things on eBay would have been a good choice. There's another one for 12, another one for 15, 16, 19, 25. So the highest one is $25. The lowest one is $5. So we'll probably do somewhere in the middle, and I'll go over the conditions of it because it does show some signs where it had the mold on there. And I'm like rubbing my hands all over it. But all in all, I mean, it's in great condition for its age, for a book that old. And, maybe do a $15, $16 sale on it because it seems like that's where the majority of the sales were. It's not an $85 book. So that's why it's good to do the research. And we'll put this up here so we go on over it. And that one is going to go online today. So $15, maybe get a sale. Maybe do $9.99 and have them pay for shipping of $4.99. So you still get the $15. And we'll make an $8. That's an $8 book sitting there. It's really cool though. But hey, you know what, guys and gals? I am going to take off. I'm going to go hang out with the kids for a couple hours before I got to go into work and spend some time with my babies. So I want to thank you guys for coming in, and hopefully you learned some information. I mean, I'm not a guru on this by no means. I did start selling on eBay with half.com about 14 years ago with books. So I know a little bit about it, but I'm not claiming to be an expert in no way, shape, or form. This is how I do it. I'm not recommending to you in any way, shape, or form that you should do it this way. I kind of shared with you some of the secrets and how I look for books and what I look for and what platforms that I sell on. I'm very selective on some of the things that I sell. I keep in mind a lot of factors that I didn't disclose. So just make sure you do your homework, you research things, you brush up on certain things. Um, I, I don't repair any of the books. I sell them as is. I just identify the issues. So don't try to take Elmer's glue and try to fix something. Leave it the way it is. As long as you describe it and you show on eBay, if that's your choice that you're going to sell on, let the buyers know exactly what it is that you're trying to sell. And they'll be very pleased with the fact because they might be looking for something as a project. They might be looking for something that's low in cost to complete their collection with until they find something better. Don't try to manipulate the books. Don't try to lie about the condition, especially on either platform, especially on Amazon. You will get burned and you will not be able to cross again to go back in that direction. Once you get yourself in a situation like that, Amazon does not mess around. You got to think about it. Amazon started, Jeff and his wife started by selling books, and that's how they made their money. And they take a huge amount of money out of you when it comes to books, and that's what pushed me to food. Food has a lesser percentage of fees. So keep that in mind if you decide, if you haven't already done so, to sell on Amazon. So I'm out of here, you guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. And I will see you on the next live. Hey, check out the video I did with the beach. We sold a kayak the other day, and I got stranded at the beach on a Sunday waiting for a bus. It's a short video. I was basically sitting there filming the video, and I did it like 3 or 4 times because I was also trying to promote my other channel because that's the beach that I used to do the metal detecting on, and that channel is called Sweeps and Scraps. My partner, co-host in that channel, he and I haven't been. We did something like in 19, I think it was. We haven't done anything recently, and I was going to give a shout out to my channel. I didn't do it, and I said, "Ah, do it again." And then I did it again, and then I said something, and I couldn't get my finger aligned with the horizon, so I just winged it on that last one, which I dropped, and it worked out perfectly. But you can't see the islands. There's actually a set of islands called the Coronado Islands that are off the coast of Ensenada, Mexico. And there's days that you can't see it, and then days that you can. But anyway, check that out. I ended up for a trip that would have taken me probably altogether with the sale of the kayak. Literally, probably would have taken me 30 minutes because it was very quick when the gentleman showed up. We'll give myself 45 minutes. That way I would have sat down, finished my breakfast, drank my coffee. But we'll say less than under an hour. It took me 4 hours to get to there and back home because of the scheduling of the bus. But I didn't mind. I was able to watch some YouTube, listen to some music. It was relaxing. It was Sunday. So it was nice. I didn't get stranded on the beach. I mean, all I needed was a couple coconuts and some crab sandwiches and a coldie. I would have been good. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. If you're just coming in, I'm sorry that we missed you. Hopefully I answered all and any questions. If you guys don't already follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at #BookLobster. And if you have any questions on books, please submit them. I will be more than happy. Oh, these glasses bother me. I'll be more than happy to answer any question. I'm not claiming to know everything, but I have made a few bucks or two on selling books. So later, guys. Have a good one. Take care.